Oh, yeah, here we go again. Hello, and welcome into Ray on Sports. I am your host, Johnny Ray. In this podcast, we talk all things sports from my own opinion. You may agree or you may disagree, but all I do is ask that you listen. So come on in, buckle up, and let's take this ride. All right, all right. Once again, here we go. Johnny Ray on Sports, coming to you live from the KJ Ray Studios. This week's episode, I'm doing some new stuff around here. What is that? I hear a phone going off. Oh, I see what it is. Okay. Coming in live from a new studio. Got some new things going on. Got some old things going on. But today we're going to talk a little bit playoffs. Not too much, but a lot. Yeah. Because it's been a stressful week, especially for my Lakers. Oh, my God. So, NBA playoffs, what's going on? NBA playoffs, what's going on? So, in the playoffs, the seeding and the brackets. I haven't been on here for a while. I've been doing some things, taking care of some business, taking care of some personal business, taking care of some other stuff, trying to get my head right. Been watching the playoffs, watching the brackets. And, oh my God, it's been something. So let's look at the first round. What's the first round? Yeah. Okay, so in the first round, and I'm looking at, some of the recaps because I haven't seen you guys in a while. I haven't talked to you guys in a while. So Philly won the first series against the Boston Celtics. And the reason that happened because Joel Embiid came back. Came back at the end. Celtics, which is a true testament to the Celtics, and not a true testament, but actually what they do. They cannot win unless they shoot threes for some reason. I don't know. And they had a stat on how many threes they shoot per game, and that's what helps them win. And the averages are like 50 to 60 threes per game. So the 76ers outplayed them. Joel Embiid was a big part of it. He came back, forced the game 7 in Boston, and 76ers won that series. You didn't have to get too much. You got a lot from Tyrese Maxey. You got a lot from VJ Edgecombe, Paul George. They all contributed to that win. So the Celtics moved on the 76ers moved on and knocked out the Celtics. The next series in the first round was the Knicks. This is the Eastern Conference I'm looking at. I'm just giving you the preview because I watched the majority of the games. I tried to watch, all of them, but I can't. I see what I can. I get insights on some of them. Me being a sports podcaster that I am, that I love doing. Sometimes I sit up at night and watch the highlights and the replays on YouTube and ESPN and see, what happened in different series. Second series that happened over there was the Knicks versus the Hawks. In that series, I thought the Hawks had them. I really did, because the Hawks were up two games to nothing, and the Knicks came back and won, I believe, 4 straight or something like that. But yeah, it was interesting. That series was interesting. I thought the Hawks had enough to take the Knicks out, but the Knicks showed their matter or their value or their playoff experience against the Hawks, because the Hawks is a young team. Only person with that most experience in the playoffs was C.J. McCollum, because he's played for Portland Trail Blazers, and I believe he was in the playoffs with them when they had Dame Lillard. Him and Dame together, Dame was Batman and C.J. was Robin. And C.J. has been bouncing around the league, and he found a home in Atlanta. He's been like their leader. So but the Knicks ended up winning the series 4-2. Last game was 140-89, which was a blowout. And it was crazy because it looked like the Hawks just gave up. I saw that game. I saw the majority of the game. And at one point you see teams just like, we ain't got it. We can't, there's nothing we can do. We're trying everything we can. And keep that in mind that I said we're trying everything we can. We ain't got it. Because it's going to come up when I talk about the next round. The next round was the Cavs versus the Raptors. Everybody picked Cleveland to win this series, but the Raptors did take it to 7 games. The same thing happened. The playoff experience is a different thing. The playoff basketball is a different monster. If you don't know, if you don't understand, playoff basketball is a different monster. It's not the regular season. The regular season, guys play, but then they get to a point where they're like, yeah, let's play hard, but we got another game tomorrow night, or we got a back-to-back. In the playoffs, it's win or go home. And if you don't have that playoff mentality, you don't have that playoff grit, that playoff gusto, whatever you want to call it, if you don't have it, you're not going to move on. And the Cavs showed that they can win
Plus, they had a monkey on their back that, ever since Donovan Mitchell's been there, I believe, that they said that they've made it to the playoffs, but they haven't done anything. They've been knocked out. I think last year they were knocked out in the conference final by the Indiana Pacers. I believe that was last year, yes. So they constructed this Cleveland team to be ready for the playoffs, and that's why they made that big trade to get James Harden from the LA Clippers. So they traded James Harden and Ivica Zubac, I believe, for Darius Garland and a first-round draft pick, I believe. Yes, because I saw the picture, the draft yesterday. That's coming up too as well. So the Clippers ended up getting a draft pick out of that. And it paid off for the Clippers because now they have I think they picked number 4 in this year's draft, I believe. But to get back to what I was saying, Cavs, so they traded for James Harden, and they're using James Harden in moments like this for the playoffs, for him to carry him over the hump. Because I'm thinking they're saying, well, Donovan can't do it by himself, and Darius not doing the job they need him to do. So we need somebody with experience to get in here and help. So they picked up James Harden. And for the first series, I don't think he maybe averaged 20 points a game, maybe 15. I'm not sure. I wasn't really following the series like that, but I know they beat the Raptors. But the Raptors took them to 7 games as well. The next series was the Pistons versus the Magic. Now, this was the same thing, 7-game series. Magic came out there gangbusters and was killing the Pistons. And everybody started saying, oh, the Pistons, here we go. And see, Pistons are the number 1 seed. And usually in the playoffs, in the past, when the number 1 seed goes, it's an 8 seed, it's usually not a contest. It's usually, it's a sweep. Or it's more than that. It's like maybe 4 games. Maybe they'll get 1 game. The 8th seed will get 1 game, but the number 1 seed should get all the games. And that's what it should have been. But Magic came out there with some grit. Got some dogs over there. Got Banchero over there. They got some guys over there. And they did pretty good. But they took them to, like I said, they took them to get 7 games. You got Banchero. I'm looking at the lineup real quick. I'm trying to pull the box scores up. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, they got Jalen Suggs, you got Desmond Bane, they got Wendell Carter Jr., Pablo Banchero. So those guys, in Game 7, let's see, nobody, Desmond Bane, they brought him over for his playoff experience. They helped get him over that hump. Jalen Suggs only had 6 points, played 36 minutes, only had 6 points, shot 2 for 9 from the field, and 0 from 4 from 3-point. So that won't get it done in the playoffs. And also, but the thing about it was, what's his name? Wagner. Hans. I want to say Hans. I know it's not Hans. Wagner didn't play. I think he got hurt. So he really didn't play. And that was a big hit for them because I believe he was the one that helped them, get to where they were. And if he would have stayed in, I think Detroit would have got swept. But when he got hurt, the whole series changed once he got hurt. So they were trying to do it because they put Jared Kane in there to take his spot, but he only had 5 points in 24 minutes. Pablo Banchero played 42 minutes, had 38 points, 14 from 25 from the field, and 4 from 7 from 3, along with 9 rebounds and 6 assists. So it was, like I said, it was a good Game 7. But the Pistons did, they pulled it out. Yeah. So, yeah, it was good. But like I said, Orlando took Game 1, and then, Detroit came back in Game 2, but Orlando took 2 games in a row, 3 and 4. So everybody's like, oh, it's 3 games to 1. Orlando might win. They were, down the Pistons, but Pistons came back and won 5, 6, and 7. So that was good. That's good for the Pistons. But it's good, but it's also bad because that's showing me that you can't take out a number 8 seed, and you should be able to take out that number 8 seed. So that was that. In the West, oh my Lord. So in the Western Conference, after we got the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference, Spurs took out Trailblazers, which was Trailblazers were okay, but Spurs were just too much. Wembanyama was too much, so San Antonio ended up beating them 4 games to 1. The big thing for me was the Timberwolves took out the Nuggets without Anthony Edwards. If Anthony Edwards got hurt in Game 5, I want to say, or Game 3 or 4, and the Nuggets and the Timberwolves end up winning the entire series. Yeah. So the Nuggets took Game 1, but then the Timberwolves came back and took 3 games in a row. They took Game 2, 3, and 4. And I think Anthony Edwards got hurt in Game 4, so he wasn't there for Game 5. and he came back for Game 6, and they beat him in Game 6. So the Nuggets might have some rebuilding to do. They had Jokic, the MVP of the league, the Mr. Triple-Double. They had Jamal Murray, but for some reason, they couldn't get over the hump. I think, what's his name? I'll think of his name. Didn't play for them. He was out for the game as well. Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon didn't play in Game 6, so he was hurting. And it was good because Rudy Gobert guarded Jokic. So that was good for him. And that was cool. So we don't know what's going on. And yeah, so that's what's going on with that series. As I'm talking right now, I just got an alert from Shams Charania, ESPN and NBA Insider. It says the Milwaukee Bucks are open for business on trade calls and offers for a two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo entering the NBA Combine over 6 weeks away from the draft, sources told ESPN. That's huge. That is huge. But here's the thing. A lot of teams are going to ask for him, but I'm sure Milwaukee's going to ask a lot back from a lot of teams on Giannis. That's huge. That's huge. If you don't know, that's huge. But I think what it is, in my personal opinion, is that Giannis is tired. He's tired of being there. They're not doing anything. Management is not getting him the people he needs. And I think I've talked about this before in one of my podcasts, where you got to have a winning attitude as a whole team, not just the players. Not as just players, coaches, but also your front office has to have a winning attitude. And sometimes the front office doesn't have that winning attitude. They just have that attitude of looking at their book and say, well, we need to save some money here. We need to do this. We need to do that. And they think of other things besides winning. They don't understand winning brings money. Winning brings revenue. Revenue, profit, players when you win. But when teams and when players see and coaches see that you're not having a winning attitude, they don't want to come there. And they say, well, it's Milwaukee, it's a small market. It's not just that. Because OKC did it. OKC's got a championship to show for it. It might be having another second championship to show for it. It's what the owner wants to do to win and what kind of, what attitude they have about winning. Ownership in OKC has an attitude that we're going to win. And so they went out and did what they had to do to get people to win, and they have the right group. And that's, I'm getting to that. Lord, it's hard to talk about that because they play in my Lakers, but that's what winning attitude is. So Milwaukee, I don't know. We'll keep tracks on that story. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure Milwaukee, and I'm sure it's going to be on ESPN and Fox Sports and all these other, and ESPN Radio, and everybody else going to have their own opinion about, what to do with it, with Giannis, and who can afford him and who wants him and who wants to trade for him. I'm sure people keep saying that the Lakers are maybe one of the people in it, but I'm sure Milwaukee's going to want a lot. Like if the Lakers got in talks with them about Giannis, they would probably want Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and a draft pick or something, like a first-round draft pick. They're going to want something back. They're not just going to give them up for nothing unless they just, that's silly enough. Unless they're Dallas. And you know what I'm talking about Dallas giving up Luka for Anthony Edwards. For Anthony Davis. I'm sorry, Anthony Davis and Max Christie and a draft pick, and it didn't really pan out for them because Anthony Davis is no longer there. But that's what Milwaukee's going to do. They're going to ask for a lot for Giannis, because Giannis is a once in a lifetime talent. So they're going to ask for a lot for him. I'm sorry, I'm looking around because I keep hearing noises and it's freaking me out. But I know what it is. So that's what they're going to want. So anyway, back to the playoffs. So like I said, Minnesota beat Denver in the first round. And then now we're on to the second round. I think that's all the teams I had yet. Oh, and then my Lakers, they beat the Houston Rockets. And they did it majority of the time. They did it without Austin Reeves, and they did it without Luka Doncic, because Luka is not scheduled to come back at all. I don't think he's coming back at all. And that'll lead me to the second round, who the Lakers play in the second round. But in the first round, they had the Houston Rockets, and nobody picked the Lakers to win that series. They said, the Rockets are younger. The Rockets are more defensive-minded. The Lakers don't have Austin. They don't have Luka. They only got LeBron and some role players, and they're not going to get out of the first round. And Houston has what's his name? Kevin Durant. And he said that's who's going to get out the first round. But that didn't happen. Lakers played well. They played defense. They actually played better defense on KD because KD has a young team. He's another team with Houston is another team with a superstar and a bunch of role players. They're going to be stars one day, but right now they don't have that playoff mentality. So KD has that playoff mentality. He knew what it took. And so the Lakers knew that. So they crowded KD and made somebody else beat him. And it worked for a couple of games, but the Lakers ended up, blowing them out the last game. They beat them 98-78 in the final game. And Austin came back, played a decent game, but he wasn't Austin Reeves. The Austin Reeves we know. He only had 15 points in that last game. LeBron had 28 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Rui Hachimura is the one that's been killing it in the postseason. From his mid-range to his 3-point percentage. I think he's like at 53% from 3-pointers in the playoffs. He's killing it. But DeAndre Ayton ain't showing nothing. Marcus Smart is being a defensive-minded player that he should be. But nobody else on the Lakers is stepping up. Luke Kennard had one good game, but the last game, I don't think they really need him because they blew him out the water. But Luke Kennard stepped up. So that was that for the first round. So after the first round, you had the Knicks. So going to the second round, the Knicks was the 76ers, the Pistons, and the Cavs, Timberwolves and the Spurs, and the Thunder and the Lakers. So let's go with I'm trying to keep the Lakers for last. But Knicks, just yesterday, the Knicks beat the 70s. Not yesterday, Saturday. No, it was yesterday. Yes, the game was yesterday. Knicks took out the 76ers. Knicks swept that series 4 games to 9. 76ers, everybody picked the Knicks to win this series. They said, yeah, even if Joel comes back, they think the Knicks should beat them because they have more, not better players, but more gritty players than the 76ers had. So and even with Joel coming back, it didn't make a difference. They still beat them. The Pistons and the Cavs series, Detroit is up on that series 2-1. I think Cavs had a chance to win that second game and blew it. So they're having game 3 is tonight, actually. And today is, for those, when I'm saying tonight, today is Monday, May 11th, about 9:48 a.m. right now. I'm looking at my clock. So that game is tonight at 5 o'clock. The next series is the Timberwolves and the Spurs. And that series is tied up because Victor Wembanyama got kicked out of the game last night. I saw that alert and says, I think I saw that alert early. I was at church and I got an alert saying that Victor Wembanyama just got kicked out the game. So I went back and looked at it, and he threw an elbow. He threw an elbow. It wasn't like he was trying to do a clear out where, just guys put their elbows out and try to clear themselves out to give some space. No, he threw the elbow and clocked the guy right in his chops. God, what's the guy's name? The names are skipping me right now. And I think he might get suspended for the next game. So if he gets suspended for the next game and T-Wolves go up 3-2, it's going to be hard for San Antonio to come back. And San Antonio is another one of those teams. It's a young team, doesn't have playoff experience like that. They're getting by. But Minnesota, remember last year, Minnesota went to the conference finals last year. And they played Dallas. No, it wasn't Dallas. I'm sorry. They played OKC in the conference finals. So Minnesota has that experience. But the Spurs did not have that experience. And Victor, getting because that's a flagrant. I think that was upgraded to a flagrant 2, and that's why I get him kicked out the game. And that can warrant a suspension for game 5 because it's a flagrant foul. And if they look back at it, they can say, yeah, his suspension is a 1 game. So he could be out for the next game. So that would be a big blow to the Spurs if he does not play. Now remember that everybody picked the Spurs to win this series too as well, but Minnesota, there's some tough boys over there. Anthony Edwards has learned how to play better. And what I loved about him was what he said after I believe it was game 1 or game 2. And they said, oh, you guys played well. And he said, no, I didn't play good at all. He said, I had 2 turnovers. It was great to hear a young player like that to call himself out and say, I didn't play well. I had 2 turnovers. in the last quarter possessions that we could have sealed the game. I think it was game 2 it was game 1 that they won because they shocked everybody by winning game 1. And he was like, no, I didn't play well at all. I had 2 turnovers in the last couple of possessions. He said, if it wasn't for me, he said if it was for me, we would have lost that game. So he took account and he took account of what happened, which is good. I love when players take account of their actions and says, yeah, I need to play better. So now we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes because we got to see if they're gonna suspend Victor for the next game, and that's gonna be huge because if they suspend him for the next game and the series is tied 2-2, we don't know what's gonna happen. And now to the painful series that I didn't want to talk about, but I have to talk about it because it's part of sports. And even though even though I am that person, I still have to talk about it. So they're talking about the Lakers. The Lakers are down 3-0 to the Thunder. And for 2 games straight, the Lakers have been leading at halftime. And the Thunders have been kicking into another gear on third and fourth quarter and just blowing the Lakers out the water. And this is one of those ones where LeBron knows, Austin knows. We talk about the refs because the refs do, game 2 was really horrible, a horrible officiating game. And everybody's talked about it. Everybody on every platform has talked about it. I've talked about it. I watched the game. But here's the thing for me. I'm such a diehard fan that the day the game came on, I couldn't watch it because I was bowling at the same time and I don't want to mess up my bowling game. So I was like, nah, I'm not watching this game. This is too much for me. But it was stressful. And the last game, Saturday game, they played. No, it was Thursday. I'm sorry, when they played Thursday. Was it Thursday or Saturday? One game, but game 1. No, game 1 was Tuesday. I remember that. Game 1 was Tuesday. I didn't want to watch it, and the Lakers lost that game. Game 2 was Thursday. I was bowling again, and one of the guys had it on. And he asked me, "Hey," they was watching. I remember this clearly. Bear with me. They had the hockey game on, and the hockey game was over. And the guy came to me and said, "Hey, I noticed you watching the Lakers game. You want them to put that on the screen over here?" I said, "Nah." I said, "Nah, I'm good." I said, "I don't need to see it." I said, "I saw my phone is turned over because I don't want to see the score." I said, "Because it's going to throw me off. It's going to throw me off my game." So I didn't really watch it. So that's how diehard a fan it is. That it hurts my soul when they lose. So I didn't want to watch it. So now they're down 3-0. They lost Saturday against the same thing. Okay, against OKC. They're at home. Lakers are at home. They were up at halftime, 59-57, and then OKC just changed to another gear and blew them out the water again. And once OKC starts rolling, they're unstoppable. And I came to the realization that the Lakers can't even. I don't know if they can even pull out one game. Better, let alone try to come back and win this series because OKC is a different beast. Everybody on their roster. Everybody from the number 1 guy to the number 12 guy can come in there and take over a game. And that's crazy to hear, but it's true. I mean, wow. It's just, it's too much. It's crazy. It's crazy that they beat him like that. Like first game, they beat him 108-90. Second game, 125-107. Third game, 131-108. And like I said, every single game, somebody from the Thunder just has a good game. Anthony Mitchell was the guy in the last game. 2 for 4 from 3, 10 for 17 from the field, 24 points in 30 minutes. Shea only had 23 points. He was 7 of 20. He wasn't even shooting that well. 3 from 7 from the field. Chet Holmgren had 18. Hartenstein had 12. And Lou Dort only had 10. But Lou Dort had 4 fouls too, so he was like not a real factor. But then Isaiah Joe came in and got 12 points. Casey Wallace came in and got 16 points. It was just every game was somebody who came in for the Oklahoma City Thunder and took the Lakers out. And I don't think the Lakers have an answer yet. The answer was, well, let's get rid of Shea. Let's take Shea out the game. But them taking Shea out the game just means somebody else got off. And Lakers does not have enough firepower on offense. They can play good on defense, but they don't have enough firepower on offense to keep up with them. So they play good defense all the way up. I say we because that's my team, but I'm trying to be optimistic and try to be on the outside looking in. But Lakers have the fire. They don't have the firepower they need because they don't have Luka. Luka's out with a hamstring injury. No telling when he'll come back. But I think at this point of the series, even if he was able to come back, they wouldn't let him come back because they're down 3-0. Why would you let him come back? Try to risk him getting further injured with the hamstring just for one game. Now, if they win this game, and the coach might think, yeah, let's come back to game 6, we might have a chance. But I don't know. We'll see how this game goes. If the Lakers win this game, I think Luka will come back for game 6 and try to make a series of it. But then the Lakers would have to win 3 in a row. Yeah, they'd have to win 3 in a row to tie the series up. They'd have to win game 4, 5, and 6, and then force a game 7. And against OKC, that's hard to do. So I do have OKC. I have them picked to be NBA champions again. I have OKC coming out the West, and I have the Knicks coming out the East. And I think it'll be a good series if it'll be Knicks against the Thunder. I think the Knicks are more physical than any other team that the Thunder has played so far. They played Phoenix. Phoenix is not physical. Phoenix had one guy, which is I forgot the guy's name. Anyway, but they only had that one guy who played really good defense on them, and he was real physical. Lakers only have like 2 guys in there that are really physical: Marcus Smart and LeBron. Probably only 2 physical people in there. DeAndre Ayton is getting pushed around in the paint. Horrible. I don't even think he should come back next year. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know what the contract is. I don't know what he signed for. But if I was the Lakers, I wouldn't bring him back because he didn't show anything. In the last game, I was watching the game, and I think it was Reggie Miller, or I forgot who was calling the game, but it was a possession where OKC got 3 offensive rebounds in a row, and DeAndre Ayton was in the paint. And the guy said, that's the turning point right there. That changed the game right there, because if he would have got those offensive rebounds, I think the Lakers were only down by 5. But because he can get the offensive rebound, with the defensive rebound, and the Thunder got it back, they hit 1 3, and they went down the court, and then they came back and hit another one. And Ayton wasn't doing anything in the paint. Anything. It was horrible. Horrible. I've never seen it. And he's the one who complained early in the season about him getting touches in the paint. But if you don't protect the paint, why are you going to get touches? Just my personal opinion. So here's I'm looking at thing from ESPN. I think this is Corey Alexander saying, can the Lakers still beat the Thunder after going down 0-3? Let's listen to this. Let's check this out real quick. Oh, sorry. Not that. Right now they're that's commercial. So while the commercial's going on, sorry. We'll wait for it to come on. I get the ads before the thing. I'm sorry, I don't have the unlimited plan where you can stop. We'll see. Let's see. But let's see what happens. Oh, here it goes. Oh, okay, here we go. Sorry, let me get it. Quentin Richardson, that's what it is.
full team on this. Still have to respect, but I did not think the Lakers had a true opportunity to drive in this series.
So there you go. Nobody has a chance, and I agree. I'm not doubting anything he said. I'm not doubting anything he brought up. But he's right. The Lakers have zero chance to win this series. I watch the games, and and Lakers are putting everything forward. You know, LeBron's doing what he can. LeBron's being LeBron. He's 41 years old. He's being LeBron, but he's trying his best. Austin's trying to do his best, but that's it. Between LeBron, Austin, and maybe Rui Hachimura, that's it. Nobody else is doing nothing. Nobody else is stepping up. Like I said, DeAndre Ayton's not stepping up. Marcus Smart is playing excellent defense on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA. He's limited him when he's on the floor with him. He's limiting his percentage, his field goal percentage. But nobody else from the Lakers is stepping up, and they need that fourth person. They got Rui, but then like the guy like Quentin Richardson was saying, the third quarter when the Lakers came out sputtering, that's when OKC took over and said, okay, we got him now. And they just start going up and down the court. And they don't stop. On misses, on makes, they pushing it. They pushing it on misses. They pushing it on makes. So you miss a shot, they're pushing it down the court. You make a shot, they're pushing it down the court. They're pushing down the court. One possession, I believe somebody shot, I think it was Austin, shot a three, and he missed it. And before he even decided what was going on, I think he was complaining to the refs about the shot or something. Caruso was halfway down the court, and when Thunder got the ball, they just shot it to Caruso. Caruso made a layup. That was just like that. Bam. Game just changed. And once you give a young team like that kind of confidence, they feel like they can beat anybody. So right now, OKC is playing on adrenaline and confidence and I will have to say arrogance, because they can believe they can beat anybody at any time. And I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it, because they are that team. They got a great leader in SGA. He's got a great team around him. They play hard. They play rough. They play tight. And you got to come with it 48 minutes or you're going to get blown out the water. And that's what they've been doing to the Lakers. Been blowing them out the water. So we'll see what happens. But for right now, this is Johnny Ray for Ray on Sports, coming to you live from the KJ Ray Studios. I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, take care and God bless.